Hello, hello, hello. Hi, all. Well, I am so excited for many, many reasons, but one is today is the final Friday for Filter Free Fridays with Angel Speaking for 2023. So thank you for those of you who have been rocking with me from the beginning and all year long. We have done some phenomenal work and shared a lot of lessons learned. And my assistant has done like a little compilation album that was released this morning of all the Filter Free Fridays rapid fire that I've done this year. So I'm so grateful for that. And I'm so grateful for you as listeners. So with that, a couple of announcements. One, we are not going away from Filter Free Friday completely. We are moving to what we call special sessions. So every now and then, right? So you have to follow us on LinkedIn or Facebook to make sure that you do not miss these special sessions. But I've got a doozy of one coming up for you very shortly. I am so excited about it. There's been a ton of research done around women in the workplace, particularly women of color in the workplace this last year. And I've got the insider scoop from two organizations, very well known, extremely reputable in the survey and marketing and data collection space, that have compiled their findings and will share that. So we will get late breaking news around the findings of that report right here. So you do not want to miss that. So again, please bookmark that because that is coming here probably around Q4 into the year. And then a couple more special sessions planned for 2024. So with that, a couple more things. One, why you came here today, which is step 4 of the Agile Mindset Framework. But before we get into that, for those of you that are newly connected to me, new to my network, new to me, you're thinking, well, dang, I just connected with her and already she's wrapping up. Don't, because again, there's so much more. But if you are new to my network, my name is Angel G. Henry. I am your Agile Mindset expert and ceiling breaker. I'm the ceiling breaker because I'm the author of Dents in the Ceiling: Tools Women and Allies Need to Break Through. It is all about the work that I did and sharing my journey in corporate America, along with many other women from coast to coast, across generations, across regions, across different types of corporations and research organizations, that I have been on a campaign with myself and my coaches and consultants around 2 aspects of work. One, giving tools to women, all women, of how they can successfully navigate some pretty non-inclusive workspaces, right? We know we've got a lot of work to do. A lot of organizations have just started. Some are actually kind of reverting back and not investing in inclusion and diversity, as we all know in this country. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and women who are sitting in the seats of these organizations, from executive down to frontline worker, need some very actionable, practical tips on how to navigate their career. And then second, one that we are really doubling down on with my consortium of coaches and consultants is around uber focusing on managers, on supervisors, those that have what we call people responsibilities. So if those you or those in your organization, I'm particularly talking to my HR VPs and my those that sit in the seat of the DE&I office. If you're watching this and you have supervisors in your organizations that are struggling with ENPS scores, they're struggling with connecting with the younger generation, giving feedback to like Gen Z or millennials. They're struggling to re-engage or engage those that are baby boomer Gen X, right? We have all these generations in the workplace. They all have different needs. They all have different performance goals, and they all have different ways of receiving and providing feedback. So if you're struggling with that, then you will definitely want to reach out to us at info@angelspeaking.com. We are here to help support. So with that, we have a 4-step Agile Mindset Framework that does just that, right? We are solving for the workplace issues around top talent retention and around lack of employee engagement. The 4-step Agile Mindset Framework is the solution to solve for those issues. How? Step one, step one, list of objectives. Step two, prioritize those objectives. Step three, provide short time box periods of work in which you execute towards meeting those objectives. And four, retrospective. Retrospective is just a fancy word that means lessons learned. Think retro, which means before, behind, right? Like looking behind you. The old adage, hindsight is 2020, applies here. It's the thought of, and excuse me, I think my light is like way too bright. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let me turn down the lights. It's the old adage of, if I had only known, if I had known now, back then, if I had known, if I had known then what I know now, I would have made a different decision. Well, we get the opportunity to do just that. Yes, the Agile Mindset Framework is the only place where you can implement that immediately, right? Because of those short time box windows of work, every 2 to 3 weeks at max 4, you get a chance to say, well, I've learned some stuff. I don't think I would do that again. I don't think I would have made that change. Or I tried that change. Everything looked like the change that I implemented would have worked well, but it didn't. It didn't land. My employees didn't receive it the way that I thought they would. Okay, well, I'm just going to stop doing that, right? You've only done it for a couple of weeks, so you haven't really harmed anyone too much. And so you implement an action, you try a different behavior. If it doesn't work, stop doing it, right? We're not in the business of doing things that don't make sense. We don't have time for that. This is all about high value, high impact, okay? If it worked well, then keep doing it. And if you're like, it kind of worked. I mean, it landed with a few people, but I'm not sure. Here, let me walk you through a quick example. So let's say that you have an objective of, we need to increase our eNPS scores. We need to increase how employees engage, okay, with this particular department, with this, let's say with this particular team of 12 individuals, all report back and eNPS is low, okay? All right, so that supervisor now has that information, that data, and we would work with them on creating a list of objectives, right? Let's just brainstorm. Let's just list all of the things that could be done differently to engage or to re-engage the staff. Okay. Second step, we're going to prioritize it. Highest one, right? Let's just hypothetically say that the highest one that's going to offer the most impact and the most value to the team is to completely change the meeting structure. Okay. It's stale. It's not working. Employees are checking out. It was one of the listed in terms of employee comments as the one thing that the staff really did not like. So number one thing, we want to shake up our regular staff meetings. So some actions under that might be, we're going to change the agenda, we're going to change the time, we're going to change the length of those meetings. Okay. So when we talk about changing the agenda, what are we going to do? Myself, I would probably recommend to say, well, instead of you, supervisor, telling the team what the agenda is going to be, why don't you open it up to ask for agenda items? Ask the team to co-create the agenda with you. Okay, so that's one of the actions that we're going to take. And so the supervisor then goes and does that, right? So in 2 weeks, maybe you have 2 meetings. So for the next 2 meetings, week 1 and week 2, the supervisor is going to open it up to collect agenda items so that there's a co-creation of the agenda with the staff, okay? The first week, you got some responses back, right? Like maybe 8 people responded back with some items. Okay, great, all right. Week 2, maybe it fell off, right? Maybe only 4 people replied back with the items. It's like, oh, okay. So we now ask the employees in that second meeting, hey, so we're trying something different. We want to include you in our agenda. We know that the meetings have been kind of stale and boring lately. And so you provided us items, but only 4 of you replied back the second week. How's it going? Right? You check in, you get feedback about how the change is. And who knows what feedback you might get, right? Maybe half the people were on vacation. Maybe there was a looming deadline. They were busy. Um, they just didn't have anything, whatever. You'll find out what was going on. And so you might come back from that and think to yourself, well, okay, it's not bad that we do this, but maybe I do it in a different way. Maybe I, instead of doing an open-ended email, I post it on our SharePoint site, or I post it on somewhere where it's transparent, where people can see it, and they can just add the items as they think of them throughout the week, right? That just becomes a new team norm that we do. And so the agenda gets built over time, instead of me just saying, hey, give me your items and here's the deadline by which I need them, right? Maybe that's not really the most innovative way to elicit feedback or response back from my folks. So that way you're not, as we would say in America, you're not quite throwing the baby out with the bathwater. You're not completely letting go of that idea. You're just now kind of being creative in how it gets implemented. That's what we mean by retrospective. It allows the person who's introducing change some time, and it's a short amount of time, y'all. We're talking literally 15, 20 minutes for you to sit down at lunchtime on a Friday afternoon. That's when I usually did mine, Friday afternoons. And just think about, how has the last 2 weeks gone, and what can I change? What can I tweak? What do I need to stop doing? And that's really the 3 questions that you're asking yourself. What worked well that I need to continue doing? What do I need to stop doing completely? And then 3, what actions am I going to be committed to try the following week? Okay, or the following next 2 weeks. So that's how this goes. That's the big retrospective, right? Just answering those 3 questions. Now you can imagine asking those 3 questions to yourself every couple of weeks. That can get stale and boring too. So we like to shake it up, right? I recommend that you have an accountability partner. So someone else that you're meeting with, and talking through your lessons learned. One of the things that I've done is in my private LinkedIn group, I personally posted the 3 things that I'm working on over the next 2 weeks. That's a quick way of getting some accountability. Because if you just keep it to yourself, it might very easily fall off your radar. You have to be pretty diligent, right? I'm talking like type A personality, very planful, mindful. If it's on my calendar, I'm going to do it person. Otherwise, you very well, if it's just you might end up stop doing it. And guess what? That happens to teams all the time, right? I've run agile teams that are doing this work every 2 weeks for years. And so you can imagine, by about 6, 8, 9 months in, after doing this process every couple of weeks, people start thinking like, oh, I got this. I don't have to do it. I can skip this. But that's the secret sauce. Don't skip it. You don't want to just do the first 3 steps. You have to keep step 4. That's the secret sauce to making this work. That's where the feedback and the action come together. So we can get creative about how we do it. We can draw pretty pictures. We can have team building exercises. We can, have candy bars and Starbucks at the session, incentivize yourself and others. But please, please, please do not miss out on step 4. That's what holds all this together. So if you've heard all this and you're interested, absolutely, now is where I'm super excited about this announcement. Mark your calendars for Tuesday, October 10th, 2023. That is where we will be launching our webinar around solving the talent retention challenge. Okay, we are in challenging times. I alluded to the fact that we've got multi-generationals. We still have a gender gap when it comes to women in leadership at the executive rank. We still have inequality when it comes to pay gaps. We still have issues with millennials and Gen Zers as they're coming into the organization and moving their way up on the leadership track. They're not feeling included. It kind of we hear all the time, square peg, round hole. All of these things are coming together, and HR and DE&I offices are overwhelmed. Okay, I know for a fact they're overwhelmed. I'm in all the groups. I'm listening. I'm on the chats. I see it. I hear it. My colleagues are struggling, and you don't have to. Again, Angel Speaking, our consortium of coaches and consultants have the solution. It is the 4-step Agile Mindset Framework applied to change management behavior for your supervisors. Okay. And what I'm so excited about is we have a pilot or a bridge offering that allows managers to try this out with 3 micro learnings and go through these 4 steps 3 times with us to help get that change ignited into your organization. So you do not want to miss Tuesday, October 10th's webinar. There will be SHRM credit available as well, 1.5 CEUs or PDUs. So hey, you get a little continuing education credit out of it as well, because Angel Speaking is an accredited provider of both SHRM and HRCI. We are so excited to provide this offering to you. So again, follow us right here, reach out, info@angelspeaking.com. We'll get you the link. It'll be live on Tuesday. So we'll get you that information and the code to register. And with that, thank you all. Have a blessed and happy Friday. Have a wonderful long weekend for those of you that are watching in the US. And with that, we will see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.